Hey, so we're here at our steer pen. I don't normally video over here because there's not much to show. We do keep this nice big round pen for those steers who were finishing for the last couple of weeks. They can finish out on good grain and we get that good marbling. These two cows in particular, we have a steer, let's see, that's Mac. Mac is a fence jumper, so although his butcher date is a few months out, he has to be inside of these cattle panels. Believe it or not, this just 1.5 foot difference in the height makes a huge difference that he does not even attempt to jump this fence. But this wood fence, he has jumped, he's broken the fence, he wants to get to the other cows. We can't let him with the other cows because he will nurse off of his mama. And that's Dolly, who we're getting milk from. So we need the milk. He's way too old for the milk. Anywho, all that to say, I wanted to kind of show what we're looking for when we look for calving, when our cows are getting ready to calve. So this is a Brahma mama. She's big, ugly, red. She lives in here because she wants to kill everything and everybody. So she is a danger to our other cows who are pregnant. She's a danger to us, and so she lives within these cattle panels as well. She had a butcher date, but our AI tech came. He knows Brahma very well and said, no, she's bred and she's ready to calve anytime now. I'm gonna zoom in on her udder so you can kind of see what we're looking for. Her udder, she's getting quite swollen there. I've watched her every day to kind of compare from day to day, and she's definitely more swollen today. Okay, well, I've been out and about today and running some errands. Worked on our podcast at American Farmsteadhers podcast, and I'm back. I have got to deal with these tomatoes here. So I've got some stewed tomatoes I need to get canned up. This is part of my project freezer clean out. It's a horrible time to decide to do this project in our lives, but I started doing it nonetheless. So I had recently purchased several cases of produce to go ahead and can. One of those cases was a box of tomatoes. So I started them stewing here in this roaster pan. They've stewed down for several hours. I've drained some of the water off of them to help get this rolling along a little bit faster. I then added in some frozen tomatoes out of our freezer. Several of them were a darker color, so you can see how dark some of that tomato pulp is in there. It almost looks green. They were not green tomatoes. We like to grow black crims. I think that's what a lot of those are. They're similar to what your Cherokee purple is, if that's your thing. But the black crims, they do better here than a Cherokee purple. They seem to withstand the heat and the humidity a little bit better. So I am going to get these canned up. So I'm getting my canner filled with water. As that's going, I just thought I'd give you a quick update on Brahma Mama. I don't think birth is imminent. She doesn't look any different than she did this morning, but I'll keep checking her a couple times a day just to see if she has any progress. But that little udder is a little bit more swollen. She did come to me at the fence and took a piece of bread from my hand. So she's eating. She's had her grain today. She's had hay. She doesn't love us still. So she's her normal self, I'll say that. Okay, I'm at the end of my jars here on this batch, and I figured I'd show you real quick how I do this. So first of all, these tomatoes, a lot of people will tell you you have to peel them and you have to de-seed them and you need to run them through a food mill. I don't do all of that. I have done that like twice. I don't have time for that. If there's something that doesn't have to be skinned for the concern of safety in canned goods, I don't do it. So these tomatoes, they have their skins on them, they have the seeds in them, there's lots of nutrients in there. I have heard that some people have a problem with seeds in their tomato sauce or canned tomatoes because the seeds are bitter. We haven't experienced that. If I do stewed tomatoes or just chopped tomatoes or anything with tomatoes in them like chili or marinara sauce, we have not experienced any bitterness in the seeds like that, so I don't worry about it. So these are just whole stewed tomatoes. All right, I have a clean jar funnel. I'm going to add a teaspoon of lemon juice because lemons are not acidic as once was thought. The lemon juice is for food safety reasons. And then I'm just going to dump in some of my stewed tomatoes. Now you want to leave a 3/4 inch headspace on tomatoes, so I'll just scoop a little bit out. All right, now you need a debubbler tool. I'm just using a butter knife. You want to be careful if you're using a metal tool that you don't push against the sides of your jar. You don't want to scratch the jar. If you do scratch the jar, then that makes a weak place in it so that you have a chance of breakage. Alright, so I'm just getting the bubbles out, running it along the side. Now you can add salt if you want, I'm not going to. And then last, you just want to use some white vinegar to clean the rim of your jar of any debris. That would be any, if you used herbs or salt, any tomatoes or seeds, anything sticky. I've got a new lid, and you want your jar just finger tight. I'll lift this up, drop it in the water. So there we go. I've got 8 jars. They're covered in water. You need to make sure that they are covered in at least 1 inch of water. I'm kind of, oh, I've got plenty of water there. All right. So we're gonna bring this to a rolling boil. So I'm gonna clean up this mess while I'm waiting on that to start. Once it starts to boil, I'm gonna set my timer for 40 minutes. That's for pint-sized jars. If I used quart-sized jars, I would do 45 minutes. And then you can see I have just a little bit of tomatoes left in here. I'm gonna dig that out and take it out to the chickens. They'll love it. It won't go to waste. We'll just turn it into some eggs. All right, so here they are in the afternoon. It's like 95 degrees out, literally. The flies are really bad right here. I don't have any chickens I can put in here to keep them in here. So let me show you what I've got. Okay, if you have not tried these quick strike products, they make other like fly bait and stuff like that. These little traps are amazing. I'm gonna show you. All right, they come in a 2-pack. You can get these on Amazon. This is what they look like, yellow and red. And then they have this little scent attractant. You just press on it to break it. This is gonna attract the flies also. I like to use a bucket with a little bit of feed in the bottom. Stick it on top. I'll just let it sit like this, and I'll come back and check on it later and show you what we've got. All right. We'll just let that sit for a minute. All right, so I like to let this sit for a few minutes before I try to take them out. Kind of let it slowly acclimate. I'm already getting some little pings. Well, I was getting ready to record the end of our day. Miss Kitty needs some attention. She's gonna follow me around and cry until I pick her up for a minute. Well, you may have also seen, we've been picking, Miss Kitty and I. Mickey Mouse, we've been picking. I got a handful of green beans. Our green beans are kind of at that weird, getting like a handful, just the first couple of handfuls, so not quite enough to have for a dinner, but more than just to snack on. So I picked some 2 days ago, I picked some tonight, and probably together I could use them as a side for dinner. And then, man, these blackberries, they are awesome. They are so sweet. so juicy. They're nice and big. These are the Natchez blackberries, a thornless variety. My fingers are pink because I've been picking them. Only thing is some of them, like, they look like they haven't turned all the way. I don't know what that's all about. Some of them that I picked the other day even had like some of these little kernels on them were completely white. And it was like half the berry would be black and half of it would be white. It was very strange. But I did taste them today and they still taste good. They're still sweet. They're still juicy. So I went ahead and picked the others that I found like that. I was kind of scared too earlier. I was afraid it'd be bitter or sour. And a zucchini. Once the zucchini start coming, they really come. Mickey Mouse. She's a good kitty cat. Good kitty cat. So we're just kind of walking through. We're getting to that golden hour where the sun sets that way beyond the trees. The flowers are pretty. One thing I did, was it today? No, it was yesterday. In the morning, I took a 5-gallon bucket and put some chicken litter in it, filled it up with water, let it sit for a couple days, and then yesterday I came out and I spread it throughout the beds, trying to gain some bacterial life, some microbial life in the soil, and some things really perked up immediately, I guess just from the nitrogen in that and the chicken poop. So that wasn't the goal, but that seems to be part of what happened. I should have expected that. Oh, that sun is bad. I should have expected that. We're starting to get a couple of eggplants. I'll do a garden tour probably next week after we get through this weekend of craziness. I want to check on that fly trap real quick before I let you go though, so let's go see. Here's the girls. Dolly must have gotten her fill. She's already laying down. Everybody else is here. We are short 2 cows. We sold 2 of our smallest cows. One was, that's our Belle out there with the white face. One was Belle's last year's heifer. She just was short, which Belle is short. She was small, very skittish, hard to get our hands on her. She'll make somebody, the buyer's a nice little heifer though. They get her secluded away from the herd. And then they also bought our Gordon, who is also, he was about 15 months old. He was a steer out of the steer pen over here. So let's go see that fly trap. All right, so here's the fly trap. You can see, you can watch them land on it and they die, literally. Watch this, they'll just die. You run around for a minute and then they'll end up kind of keeling over. So look down in the bucket, that's all flies. So it's been about an hour and a half since I put it out. There's one dying right there. So these things are great. They work really well to last weeks and weeks as long as they don't get wet. In the hottest part of our summer, even the wet air causes them to get wet when it's very humid. And they don't last as long then, but as long as they don't get rained on, they're pretty good. We've had one for a couple weeks in the milk barn. Hey girl, I hope that helps ya. Yeah, I know, they get in you. We'll spray them down as well. So that's it. Just want to say thanks for watching. I get tickled to death when I see that my views are up when I post the video. We did get the front and back planters planted, just ornamental stuff. We've got to fix the sidewalk behind me still. Sorry, they're loud. They're ready for their evening grain, so I'm gonna do that. Move the sprinklers. We're in our spring drought. We don't have regular rain yet, and get on with our night. We get to have just a kind of an at-home date night. Both of our kids are out this evening at other dinners, other graduation parties, and so it's just us. So I'm gonna go in and deal with blackberries and figure out what we're gonna do for dinner. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it.